Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Mai and I'm originally from Ho Chi Minh City. Before coming to Hanoi, I've actually worked and studied in Singapore for quite a long time. And after coming back to Vietnam, I wanted to pursue my passion in teaching, especially in teaching English. So I took up a training course that's offered by Cambridge University. It is called CELTA. So in this course, there are some training to help you to be able to teach English better to students of other languages. So here I am today at iShine, doing one of the things that I love most, which is to become an English teacher. So today I have some speaking tips for you, especially for those who are taking the IELTS exam. And here we have 5 tips to help you to be able to speak better in the IELTS exam. Number 1 is to paraphrase the question. Number 2 is to avoid speaking too short or providing only one-word answer. And number 3, in your vocabulary, you should use higher level words, but avoid using words that are too complicated. And number 4, which is a little bit to do with grammar, of how to make your sentences a little bit longer, using relative pronouns and relative adverbs. And lastly, number 5 is how to be confident, how to show excitement and interest in your exam. Okay. So today we have 5 speaking tips for you, especially for those who are taking the IELTS exam. Number 1 is to paraphrase the question. Number 2 is to avoid answers that are too short or especially only one-word answer. Number 3 is with your vocabulary. You should use a few higher level words but avoid using words that are too complicated. And number 4, especially with grammar, how to make your sentences a little bit longer using relative pronouns and relative adverbs. And lastly, number 5, how to show confidence, excitement, and interest when you are taking the exam. Okay, so here's our very first tip, which is to paraphrase the question. So many students find it difficult to start an answer, and often you will repeat the questions too much. So in order not to do that, you can rephrase the question using different words. For example, when the examiner asks you, what is your favorite hobby? Instead of saying, my favorite hobby is, you can say that one of the pastimes that I enjoy doing the most is going to the movies. Cũng ngắn. Rồi tới cái tip 2 ha. Okay. Then now is our second tip, which is to avoid answers that are too short, especially one-word answer. So in the exam, you should never answer only using one word or answer the question too shortly. This shows a lack of interest and also shows that you are not confident. So for example, if the question asks, do you like horror movie? Instead of just saying no, you should say, no, I really don't like horror movies because they are really scary. Okay, and coming to our third tip, which is to do with our vocabulary. So for vocabulary in the IELTS exam, you should use a little bit of the higher level words. So instead of using words that are too common, you can replace them with words that are a little bit more sophisticated. For example, when you're asked, what kind of food do you like? So instead of saying the common word food, you can replace it by the word cuisine. For example, I really like French cuisine. So that will help you to be able to improve your level of vocabulary a little bit. Okay, and next one is our fourth tip, which is to do with grammar. So very often Vietnamese students answer with simple structures or simple sentences. So that will actually lower your score in the IELTS speaking exam. So in order to boost your score a little bit, you can use a little bit of longer sentences and also more complex grammar structure. And one of the ways to do that is to make good use of relative pronouns like who, whom, which, that, or relative adverbs like when or where. For example, instead of saying, I met a young man on the plane. He was a famous singer. You can combine the sentences and say, the young man whom I met on the plane was a famous singer. Or instead of saying, I was born in a village, it was very beautiful. You can say, the village where I was born was really beautiful. All right, and last but not least, our fifth tip for you today. So when you, okay, so last but not least, our fifth tip for you today is when you go to the exam, I know that you can be very, very nervous. However, try to go in with a lot of confidence. And one of the ways to do this is when you walk in the examination room, greet your examiner and establish good rapport with the examiner. Then it will help you to feel more confident and comfortable in your test place. And also, when you're answering the question, try to show a lot more interest and have genuine, support for your answer. In that way, you can answer your questions really, really well. Okay, so I hope that you have found all our 5 tips today useful for you, especially for those who are preparing for the exam, and we wish you the best of luck. Thank you.